All right, a quick video today. Really happy that I just had this converted thanks to Staples. Shout out to Staples. I had left it out and it got rained on and some of the pages were just messed up. So I had them cut the spine off and put it in this binder, and then I put labels on here. I'm super excited, but I want to show some of you. I know some of you were asking about these manuals, and I bought this off of eBay, factory assembly manual. Sometimes they're called the factory assembly instruction manual, but this says factory assembly manual for my year. And this is basically, and I'm not an expert in this, but this is basically, my understanding is this was made for the people at GM to help them assemble the cars. This was not made for the general public. It's not highly detailed. It's made for people, I guess, as a reminder, as a general guide, who already really know what they're doing, and it's just to double check the specs and everything. But let me leaf through it real quick. Trim heights. So every page has what it's about down here, and it is organized into these UPC numbers, not the same as UPC codes. They have different codes. Mode. This number is throughout, so I guess this is probably specific to my car or year. If you look on the very first page, it gives you what's under each of the UPC numbers, but they're not always in order throughout, so it's kind of random. I don't know. But you see fuel and exhaust, steering, wheels and tires, blah, 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 blah. And so as we go through, you'll see they have just information, bonds. This is cowl, dash panel, hole piercing. Talks about all the holes. All kinds of stuff. Here's lubricants, or actually fluids. Well, this is lubrication. It talks about all the types. Here's cements and sealers. I'm not going to go through every page. Let's just whip through this. So I've marked it in ways that are meaningful to me. So this is frame and support. So I can find where, for example, I need to get the information when I do this work, because my car, I have to reattach the upper windshield frame. So I'll be looking at this. This part, there's information about that. Here's the lower part, all that stuff. So I'm going to speed through here. But that's what some of the information that's in here. But then there'll be other stuff, like here's the interior, some interior components. I've got one that's called wiper door and interior. So it shows how to put together the whole wiper door. And on this one, has that vacuum actuated wiper door, which I know is a pain in the butt, but I like it. This one, I just think it looks nice. And I don't mind fiddling around with the vacuum systems, wipers and stuff. Here's one I marked called roof and lid, because I need to put the deck lid on. This goes through all the molding, how to put the convertible deck lid together. Here's one I'm labeling as seats and interior. So talks about that, interior stuff, seat belts, trim, all kinds of stuff. I already have the seats together, fortunately. And then here's doors. Unfortunately, a lot of the printing is not always the best. And this I foolishly put it in the oven to dry it out after it got wet, and it actually made the ink on the pages sticky and the pages stuck together. It just created a mess. I'm kind of an idiot in that way. I didn't know. But here's, stuff about how to put the doors together. Fortunately, there's some good videos on YouTube about how to assemble Corvette doors. Here's a tab called suspension. So I've been looking at this one a lot lately. Front suspension, rear suspension. I was just on this yesterday, actually. It's a shock, and it gives you all the torque specs. For example, let's look at this one on the differential. Anytime you see a little triangle, there's a number, and then there's different torque numbers down here with the triangle. So if it's a number 2, 55 to 75 foot-pounds, etc. So it's good for information. It doesn't always give you the information on every bolt. It'll just tell you that it's a bolt, like number 1 here is bolt. It doesn't tell you exactly the specs on the bolt. That's the thing. So if you need to know, okay, is it a 5/8, you know, and what's the thread? Is it fine or coarse? You're not going to know from this necessarily. Maybe in some parts. But here's all the brake, master cylinder, all kinds of stuff. So here's one I labeled engine and fuel. And there's an interesting thing in the back I want to show you. So it gives you stuff like the belts, depending on the accessories that you have. You know, you have lots of options there. And some of these are for different engine types. Of course, you have the different engine options. Here's one. So this goes on. There's a lot of stuff here. It's actually more than just engine and fuel, but you got to pick a category. So that's what I picked. Here's one called electrical. And that gets into, of course, well, but first, here is I'm going to be looking at this coming up because it's raining. I'll be working inside. Here's the headlight door actuator system. I'm going to build those soon, hopefully. But then it gets into electrical, all kinds of stuff about that. And then miscellaneous, I want to show you guys. So then you have schematics too, back here, wiring, diagrams and things, different information. What I find interesting is back here. Let me see if I can find it. There's different information based on the different engine. So this is LS5, LS6, the coveted LS6. So different features, you know, depending on the engines, all kinds of stuff back here. And then it gets into more miscellaneous stuff. Here's some things on the drivetrain. It's kind of all spread out though. You know, if you want to have really specific information, it's here, but you're not necessarily finding like everything to do with the transmission, for example, all together. Like here's stuff on the shifter, transmission, steering, all kinds of stuff. Here's some radio. Anyway, that's basically it. Yeah, that's it. In the back, I guess it ends with this. The radio. Some things on the radio antenna, how to hook that up. It's good. So I'm excited to have this all printed and organized, and that's it. And it matches the color. Thanks for watching, you guys. Leave your helpful and kind comments below. See you later.